Howdy folks, I'm Brian and here's some Reddit. Today I'm going to try seeing how many of these stories I can get through in a half hour. So we'll see how it turns out. Am I a jerk for buying a new claw machine? I'm 20 years old. I still live at home as my university is close to home. My partner got annoyed with me for having too many stuffed animals in my room, and honestly, my mom said the same thing, so I guess they're probably onto something. I own too many stuffed animals, so I bought a claw machine as a cool way to store them. It's also cool to just practice and play. I go to Japan every year, usually to visit my grandparents, and in Japan, arcades are really popular. I played a lot growing up, and honestly, that's why I have so many stuffed animals. I asked my mom if I could get one, and she said yes if I'm paying for it. It's in my basement. My boyfriend, who I plan on moving out with eventually, is really upset at me. He hates the claw machine and thinks it's ugly, and doesn't want to deal with it in the future when we live together. He told me that when we move out, he wants to sell it and most of the toys, but I can't stand the idea of doing either. A lot of my toys have good memories from Japan. A lot were won or given to me by relatives that have passed away. Am I the jerk for not considering my partner's feelings before purchasing it? Update. Hi, I've decided to dump him. He hasn't been notified yet. Update 2. I bought 2 Squishmallows and put a story up on Instagram of my friend and I hunting for them. He messaged me about the story and said he hopes those were for my friend. After consultation with my new friend and my non-stuffed friend, he has been notified of my decision. I am staying with my friend until Monday, so he can't find me at home. Well, OP, it sounds like you already have a solution to your problem, and that's that you are no longer going to be this person's partner. So hopefully in the future you find a partner who's more supportive of your hobbies and more supportive of this, claw machine you have. So if really means this much to you, I think it was a neat idea. This is a good way of storing all these stuffed animals. So yeah, not the jerk. I think this is so cool. What's your boyfriend's problem? And then someone says, to be honest, I could understand why someone wouldn't want a claw machine in their home. It's not everyone's cup of tea. But that's where compromise come into play. And also, if it's a deal breaker, it's a deal breaker on either side here. So, maybe they did them a favor by breaking things off. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for letting my children call the nanny mommy? I'm a 35-year-old male and I have 3 kids, a 6-year-old male, a 4-year-old male, and a 2-year-old female. My wife died 2 years ago. Our live-in nanny has been with us for the last 6 years. Before that, she lived with my family for 28 years and is like a mother to me and my siblings. I call her ma'am. Recently, my children have started calling her mommy. I encourage them to call her Miss First Name, but I'm not going to stop them from calling her mommy. My wife's parents came over yesterday, and they saw that they were calling her mommy. They said that mommy should only be for my wife, and I should make them call her Miss First Name. Well, they're kids. I can't exactly monitor them every minute of the day and correct them whenever they say mommy. Besides, the older 2 called my wife Mama. They said that the nanny shouldn't be called any form of mom. I disagree. I call her ma'am. Am I the jerk? Actually, OP, I'm going to disagree with Reddit on this one, and I'm going to say that you're not the jerk here. Are your parents going to basically do the same thing if you find a new partner and your children call her mom or something like that? Kids can choose this. You're not forcing them into calling her mom. Your wife is passed, and this woman has been with you for 28 years. You consider her family. If, at very best, if they really want to compromise here, aunt first name or aunt whatever is probably a good way of approaching that. But honestly, she seems like a maternal figure or like a grandmother type to you and your family. And, I don't think that there's probably any mistaking here that, they're not going to get confused here. They know that this isn't their, original mother. This isn't like tarnishing their mother's name. So yeah, I think that this is an unreasonable ask from your parents or your parents-in-law. And yeah, I'm sorry that they're upset that, this is happening, but the children kind of made their decision, so. You're the jerk. How confused are those kids going to be when they grow up thinking that their nanny is their mother? Why not come up with a cute nickname for the nanny that is sweet and shows love, but not a term that might confuse your young children? We see countless stories on the site of kids calling non-bio parents mom or dad when they know full well that it's not their bio parent. It's not confusing unless forced or forbidden. It's not disrespectful to a late parent who simply cannot fill the role any longer. And it's the kid's choice, not the jerk OP. I agree completely with that second comment. All right, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my ex he was very inconsiderate of our daughters when he found out the gender of his new child with his wife? My ex and I separated about 4 years ago. We have 7-year-old and a 5-year-old girls. He has a son from a previous marriage and has full custody of him, and he's 10. He's been remarried 3 years now. I recently got married and welcomed a son last year. Well, I dropped the girls off to their dad for a gender reveal party X and his wife are expecting. Well, as I watched the live video stream on Facebook, it was a boy. He said, thank God, thank God. Then he said, I don't want any more girls. I would have shot myself. My girls were standing there and they looked at the camera and I could see it in their eyes that his words had hurt them. I went up to pick my girls, and I told him that he should watch his words around the girls because when he said that, it really hurt their feelings. He told me it was none of my business, and I was trying to ruin his happiness, to which I responded that I was not trying to do that, but trying to protect our daughters for never having to feel inadequate when it comes to their brothers, and he was showing blatant favoritism. He got mad and spewed some nasty names at me. I took the girls home and they told me that their daddy only loves boys and he doesn't like girls. I calmed them down. Am I the jerk for bringing it up on their special day? No, OP, I think this needed to be addressed when it happened here. I think that this is kind of, going to really leave these girls with an impression, and they're going to feel like they are, secondary to the boys in this relationship, in this family rather, and that's not a good or healthy thing to leave these little girls with. And unfortunately, I think that this is going to be pretty scarring here for them. So I'm sorry, and he's probably going to blatantly favor the boy over the girls, and I just think this is a sad situation. I think that he's probably going to show favoritism towards the boy. Not the jerk. I'd be tempted to isolate the clip of his "oh thank God, I would shoot myself if it was a girl" and send it to him. He sounds gross. I mean, definitely keep a recording of it for future custody disputes. My goodness. I would isolate the clip for court and revise the visitation agreement, not the jerk. Yes, OP, isolate the clip and overlay it on a sick beat. Make it go viral with a music video. Oh, thank God, thank God, I would shoot myself. Pause for bass drop. It was a girl. Record, scratch, and repeat. Not the jerk. You're a good mom. I tend to agree here. I think that she's looking out for her children. She doesn't want them to feel like they're going to be treated badly. And I think that it might be a good idea to keep this clip around just in case he does treat the boy with blatant favoritism. So yeah. Alright, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for hanging a photo of my family, including my boyfriend, in my apartment? My boyfriend, a 32-year-old male, recently moved into my 27-year-old female's apartment. We have been dating for a little more than a year and decided it was time to make things serious. I have a daughter, a 6-year-old female, who also lives with me and visits with her father every other weekend. I work quite a demanding job, and my daughter used to stay with either my parents or daycare while I worked. However, with the current state of the world, my boyfriend has been able to keep an eye on her mostly. I'm still in the house, but he has been doing stuff when I'm not able to, like checking what she's doing for school and making lunch. She also has taken an interest in music, and my boyfriend used to be in a band in his teenage years, and she's fascinated by that, and they spend a lot of time playing the guitar together. Nothing warms the cockles of my heart like that. So they've gotten pretty close, and they are quite fond of each other. As my boyfriend has moved in, we've taken to redecorating the house a bit and making it our space, and I put up a frame of the three of us, me, my daughter, and my boyfriend, in the living room. It's a sweet photo of a happy day that we are all fond of. There are other photos around the house with my boyfriend, and there's a few of my boyfriend teaching my daughter the guitar and stuff like that. I don't have any photos of my ex around the apartment, but in my daughter's room, we've hung a photo of her and her dad. They were always there. My ex and I have a complicated history, but we are now cordial. The other day, when my ex came over to pick up our daughter for the weekend, he noticed the changes and the pictures. I didn't really notice until later, but he left kind of mad. He then called me around midnight and ranted to me about how disrespectful it is to have a family-style photo with him not included in any of them, and how it's going to negatively affect our daughter's relationship with him, and that I'm purposely trying to alienate our daughter from him. Apparently, our daughter has also started talking about my boyfriend a lot in front of her father, and that's rubbed him the wrong way. He wants me to remove the photos or add a photo of him with the three of us. Him, me, and our kid. Both requests which I have refused. Am I the jerk? Alright, OP. No, I don't think that you're the jerk here. And the issue is that, it sounds like your ex isn't getting a lot of time with your daughter, and maybe your daughter should probably tamp down talking about your boyfriend so often in front of him, but she's really excited, and it sounds like they are clicking really well, and that they're playing the guitars together, and he's teaching her music and taking an interest in the things that she's interested in, and they just happen to have mutual interests. So it sounds like your ex is jealous, and jealousy is a really negative emotion, and it can affect people in some pretty bad ways. That's not an excuse for his behavior, but I think this is jealousy talking. How would he feel if you asked him to hang up a picture of you in his house? Does he have pictures of you, your daughter, and him hanging up in the house? I would guess probably not, and if he ends up getting a girlfriend, I'm assuming that he doesn't have one, but if he does have one, or if he gets one in the future, how would she react to having a picture of you hanging up on the wall? And sure, I don't think that this is, I think that this is a bit of an unreasonable request. You two aren't together. She has a picture of him in her room. It's not like you've taken and, are bad-mouthing him or anything like that. It just happens that she and your current boyfriend have gotten along well and are doing well. So yeah. Not the jerk unless he agrees to have a photo of you, your daughter, and your boyfriend at his place. Without him, of course. Definitely suggest this. I know your ex is being irrational, but I think it comes from a good space. He doesn't get a chance to spend the time with his kid as you and your boyfriend do. He's worried about being replaced and removed as dad in his child's eyes. He definitely went about it in a really bad way, but it's a good chance to try and take your cordial relationship to a more cooperative one. Yeah, and I think also, if he's this worried about being replaced, then maybe he should take up some more interest of his daughter and spend more time with her. And maybe maybe everyone will win in this situation. All right, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Girlfriend I Don't Want the Dog? Leave and Take It With You. Hi, everybody. So a few days ago, it was my birthday, and my girlfriend said she was going to bring me a gift on Friday and that I will love it. So I said, okay, sure, thanks. Then on Friday night, when I'm chilling at home, sipping a beer, my girlfriend opens the door and a pit bull dog runs in and starts barking at me loudly. I get confused and think, oh, maybe it's the neighbor's dog which accidentally came inside. Our neighbor doesn't really put a leash on his dog, and many times his dog will come inside our house and want to play with us because we keep our garage door open. So I picked up the pit bull and decided to go return it to my neighbor. Before I leave the door, my girlfriend's like, wait, babe, that's your present. And I'm like, what? I don't want a dog for a gift. The reason why is not because I don't love dogs. I love dogs, and growing up as a kid, I had numerous dogs. But right now, I can't take care of a dog at the moment because I'm usually relocating all the time due to jobs, work, etc. Plus, I work long hours, and coming home, I can't devote the time to a dog. I just can't. I can't take responsibility for a dog There's just a lot to it. I just can't. So I hand the pit bull to my girlfriend and tell her, you keep it, or return it, or whatever. I'm fine. Thanks. She then starts sobbing and then she takes the dog home with her and leaves. Am I the jerk? All right, OP, I'm not going to have to say that you're not the jerk here. This is a really awkward situation she put you into. And you don't get people pets without asking or consulting them first. And this isn't something that you two have had long conversations about, how you weren't like saying, oh, I wish I had a dog, and pining over the fact that you don't have a dog. She just decided one day, hey, I'm going to get you a dog. And so she didn't consult you. She just went ahead and got you a dog. And it was a wrong move in this case. So, yeah. I'm sorry that she was upset, but this isn't your fault here. She really should not have gotten you this pet without asking you first. Oh my goodness, not the jerk. Giving live animals as a gift always is the wrong thing to do. I understand what you're saying, but I just pictured girlfriend giving OP a taxidermy dog because a real one wouldn't fit his lifestyle. That's horrifying. That's twisted. That is very twisted, Lady Smog. Oh, we ran out of stories. I actually went through my whole thing. I wasn't expecting to run out of stories like that. I have some more here. Maybe we'll read a few more. All right, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Properly Medicating My Child? I'm a 37-year-old female and my husband is a 35-year-old male and my kid, I'll call her Jane, is 12. I also have a baby daughter, 14 months, and a son, 3. Jane's dad, not my husband, I'll call him Alan. Jane has always been a handful. She's a very smart and sweet girl, but she has been argumentative, stubborn, and oppositional since birth, as well as other issues, such as random anxiety and occasional hyperactivity. She still throws tantrums, and unfortunately, we get into screaming matches regularly. We are in family therapy, and she, and I, for that matter, are in individual therapy as well. The pandemic has been incredibly hard on our family. My husband lost his job, and I became the sole support, working constant overtime trying to care for our kids. I'll be honest, I just couldn't take Jane's acting out and working 60 plus hours a week and care for the infant and a toddler and a preteen. After taking her to the doctor and a therapist, we decided medication to treat her behavioral episodes. We've tried several different medications before deciding our current cocktail. It works wonderfully. Jane is calm, she doesn't argue for argument's sake, and is focused better in school. Unfortunately, there are some side effects, one of which is weight gain. Per the charts, Jane has gone from around the 20th percentile for her height to obese. She definitely does not look obese in any way. She just has adorably chubby cheeks and a little round tummy now. To be honest, she looks super cute. Her pediatrician is not thrilled with this change, but also emphasized to me that her mental health as well as physical, and that Jane needs health and sane mother and a happy family to be healthy. Jane has decided that the medicine is ruining her life by making her fat, and I'm a wicked witch for putting her on it. She did a dance pretty seriously before the pandemic, and she's upset she can't execute her dances in the same way anymore. I told her I'm committed to finding her a dance class that would welcome her and is safe to do so, which I absolutely am. Her father told her that she doesn't have to be on meds if she lived with him. It's easy for him to say because his wife doesn't work and has a very high income. Jane and her father want Jane to move in with him for the remainder of the pandemic, mainly so she can get off her current meds. I refuse. Jane can't leave her home because she doesn't like being medicated. Jane called me many names, and now I'm feeling like I'm the jerk. So am I the jerk? All right, OP. I'm going to have to actually say that you're the jerk here, and here's why. Jane doesn't want to be on these meds, and you're saying for sanity's sake, you can't take care of all these responsibilities and have an argumentative girl in your house. Your ex is offering you a way out of that situation. He is saying that he's willing to take up this mantle. He's willing to deal with her hyperactivity and her argumentative behavior. All she has to do is move in with him. And like you're saying, well, it's easy for them. Look, letting her move in with your ex isn't a sign of weakness. It doesn't mean that you love your daughter any less. It just means that maybe you two aren't necessarily as compatible. And during this time, things, it might be good for her to be able to live in a way that makes her happy. And that's that. And I think that you're not accounting for her feelings in this situation. You want her to be medicated and you want her to live at your house. And, I certainly understand you wanting her to live with you because you care and love your daughter, but you also need to let her live her life and make her medical decisions to a degree. I mean, she's 13, I think you said, so it's not unreasonable for her to know whether or not she wants to be on this medication. Being hyperactive isn't necessarily a bad thing. Being, having a lot of extra energy, ADHD isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially if she can function with that condition. So not all of these things can be like super destructive. Sometimes people can be very productive, and it really just depends on the situation. And I think again, she doesn't want to be on these meds, and your ex-husband is offering her a way out. You're the jerk. You remind me a lot of a situation I had with my mom. She refused to take responsibility for her actions and the role she played in our relationship dynamics. Then she told my psychiatrist to put me on medication. I told my psychiatrist and my mom how much I hated the medication I was on. My mom told the psychiatrist to up the dose. Jane's medication is making your life easier, obviously not her own. She's unhappy with the way it's working and is communicating to you that clearly. You refuse to let her try any other alternatives. She's going to resent you for this. Her doctors communicated that she needs a healthy, sane mother to be happy. He's hinting that you need to change too. If you both get into screaming matches, how come Jane needs to be on medication, but you, a full-grown adult with a fully formed brain, don't need any? By the way, antidepressants are not a joke, and she's only 12. She's about to go through many hormonal changes that are affecting by the medication she's on. I wouldn't say she's properly medicated at all. Yeah, I mean, I think this person brings up a lot of great points. I think that she needs to pay more attention to what her daughter's saying, and I think that she needs to listen here and let her move in with the ex. I think that's the easiest solution here. It doesn't mean that she'll love her any less. All right, this is probably going to be our last one. We are 4 minutes left, and I've been making pretty good time, so let's see how we stumble through this one. Our final letter, hopefully, maybe, is called, Am I a jerk for not making alternative meal for my wife? I'm a 35-year-old male and I work the night shift. My wife, 34-year-old female, works part-time as a server in a busy restaurant where she actually makes really good tips and brings home a bit of supplemental income. It hasn't been good since COVID and the limited capacity, but it's still pretty decent. We have 3 children, 2 girls ages 4 and 6, and she'll be 5 next month. And a son who just turned 3. I've posted this under a throwaway account here before, but apparently it's been too long and the old account name is dead. Anyway, the other day was my off day, but I worked until 7 a.m. the night before and had to be up by 11:30 so that I could watch the kids while the wife worked. My oldest daughter was being a good little helper that day, but my younger 2 were in rare form for some reason, just really rambunctious and fighting with each other almost nonstop, which was exhausting to deal with while I was already somewhat sleep deprived. Anyway, for dinner, I decided to make my kids venison tacos. I'm a hunter and I have a freezer full of venison that needs to get used up. For reference, my wife won't eat venison. What's weird is that she loves red meat. Whenever I go out to eat, I usually go for the chicken and fish while she goes for the steak. But she's seen me bring home deer carcasses and just turns her off to venison forever. She admits she isn't being rational, but she just won't eat it. So, towards the end of her shift, she texted me and stated that she had a horrible day and asked me what I'd made for dinner. When I told her, she asked if I'd browned some beef or chicken or tilapia we had in the freezer for her so that she could come home and eat tacos with us. I was already at the end of my rope after dealing with the younger 2 children and told her, no, sorry, what's available to you when we get home are venison tacos. If you don't like it, either pick it up something on your way home or else cook off your own protein when you get home. But I'm done for the day. She really wasn't happy about that. She thinks what she requested was a small ask, while I think she was putting an undue burden on me to produce something extra for her based on irrational food sensibilities. So am I the jerk? So, OP, relationships are about being good partners to each other. She has something that she doesn't like. She has a preference. She doesn't want to eat the venison. And for some reason, this bothers you. And it sounds like the issue is that you want her to like venison and she doesn't like it. She's not forcing you not to eat it. She just doesn't want to eat it herself. And I think that, it's being unreasonable to not provide her with an alternative meal. You knew that she was going to have to come home and eat, and you chose not to make her some other, supplement. So yeah, I think that in this case that you're the jerk here. I think that you should have made her something else, knowing full well that she was going to come home and have to eat something. So yeah, you're the jerk. It sounds like you both had a rough day, but you decided it was an excuse for not accommodating a long-standing food preference and dietary restriction. Come on, man. I absolutely love steak, beef ribs, pork, etc., and absolutely hate the taste of venison, deer, elk, moose, etc. Game meat tastes like soap to me. This is much more than a simple, oh, I saw a dead carcass that OP seems to think it is. When my hunter family made venison anything, they also grabbed some hamburger, chop, or some small steak for me and cooked them side by side. There's no added effort. I get running on about 4 hours of sleep with rambunctious toddlers is very taxing, and most likely something that their mother does far more frequently than on this one occasion. I'd be willing to bet that she doesn't make jerk comments about his food preferences. OP, definitely you're the jerk, and maybe stop seeking validation for your own bad behavior. Yep. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm actually really surprised at how many I got through in a half hour. Usually I stumble a lot more. I guess today was just like an on day for me. I was kind of expecting to not make it through 4 stories, but I got through way more stories here, and I had to pick things out, so also picking out the additional stories, I counted towards my time, so yeah, I'm not sure how long this video will be in the end, but it'll probably be close to a half hour, probably 25 minutes, so really not bad. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider giving me a thumbs up. If you didn't, consider giving me a thumbs down. Also, I have a Discord now. Not many people are on. There's like 3 or 4 people now. So feel free to drop by. I mean, you'll have my ear, I promise. So if you want to chat me up in a conversation, I will happily have a conversation with you. So again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.